Don't throw your feet down.
Okay, at this time, I'd like to welcome everyone to the board meeting, and I would like to call the meeting to order. Our first item is going to be a pledge of allegiance. So please stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
A lot of gold clanking out
Our next item is going to be a moment of silence. Would you please join us? Thank you. Our next item is going to be student and staff spotlight.
I'd just like to make a comment before Mr. James gives out these awards. And I don't know how many people read which I read KSBA news feed and the U.S. News report. And I'm so proud of our students, and because of you guys. And I talked about the national ranking, which we have been ranked as one of the best high schools in not just Kentucky, but in the country. So I'd just like to give, and let's just take a second here. So they reviewed 28,813 schools. Okay, they ranked 5,900. That's the top schools, the best high schools in the USA. And of course they give gold medal, silver medal, and bronze medals. 96 schools from Kentucky received a medal. Okay, 5 gold, 37 silver, 54 bronze. Well, we were one of those bronze, one of the 96. And there's 281 schools in Kentucky, 207,000 students. So as far as award distribution, there was 2%, and this is nationwide, gold. Silver, 11%, bronze, 16%. Those that did not get a medal or did not medal, 71%. And I can tell you some that did not get a medal. Johnson Central High School, Paintsville High School, Lawrence County High School, McGoffin County High School, Prestonsburg High School. I could go on and on. But I'm so proud of what you guys have accomplished and put us as one of the best, nationally ranked by U.S. News, and that is not fake news, and in the country. And here's how the criteria they use is your graduation rate, which we want to increase. Ours is 92%. Students prepared for the next level or college is one of the criteria used. Mathematics proficiency, which Lisa has stressed. 52% of our students are mathematically proficient. You want to compare that to Johnson Central, 21%. That's a big difference. You want to compare that to Lawrence County, 28%. You want to compare that to Paintsville, 33%. You want to compare it to Prestonsburg, 21%. So 52%, and you can see the stats or the statistics, the data. So again, as far as we're recognizing, I know the ROTC and ATC, which KSBA calendar, May month, you guys are featured on the KSBA calendar, the ATC. So I think I commend you and those people, those teachers, your administrators, the people that work with you, your parents who push you, and friends that help you. I am so proud of you guys for giving us a national ranking, and you should give yourself a hand.
It's always good. We know we got the best kids and staff and students around, but it's always nice when we get recognized by other people, especially the U.S. News Report. First, we want to recognize our, this is always the best time of the meeting. A lot of times I wish we'd just go home after this. But unfortunately we can't.
I agree with you.
Not out of the evening yet. Mr. Williams, you want to come up? We want to recognize our Skills USA, the HOSA.
Yeah.
So we're going to talk a minute before we start calling the kids up.
Well, I was gonna talk afterwards, I can do it.
Okay, that's fine. We'll call them up. Miss Lindsay Milson. All right, Trevor Blackburn. Michaela Scott. Both those. Congratulations, Michaela. Kyle Paxton. Miss Michaela Scott again. The two awards. Miss Jada Howe. Congratulations, Jada. Mr. Scotty Horn. I never knew he was this little guy. Cameron McCormick. Mr. Matthew Kirk. Mr. Nathan Todd. Josh Blair. Mr. Sonny Gilkey. Mr. Brent Burke. Mr. Ethan Mills. Mr. Jacob Blair. Alice Cecil. Charlie Fletcher. Miss Tiffany Reed. Terry Dalton. Jared Wright. Ethan Witt. Earl Bowen. Mr. Gary Hunt. Trey Lafferty. Declan Osborne. Jason Maynard. Mr. Alex McGinnis. Austin Borders. Sierra Bowen. Natia Goble. Miss Caitlin Maynard. Congratulations. Morgan Dingus. Spence. Miss Hannah Moore. Miss Brianna Rice. Miss Sierra Dye. Congratulations, Sierra.
Also like to call out Mr. Rose. Well, not Mr. Rose. As you can see, guys, we did a fantastic job in competitions this year. We had 8 students from HOSA that placed in the top 3 in the regional competition, qualified for state. Also, we set a new record, a new school record, I was told. In the skills competition, we had 29 students that went to the regional tournament, and we had 37 medals that placed top 3 in the skills competition. I was told that was a new school record. We had 21 students that qualified for state competition in the skills. We ended up taking 15 of those. Of the 15, we had 8 students that placed in the top 3 in the state competition, including 2 groups of state champions, a total of 4 kids. If you're a state champion there, Mr. Matt Kirk, please step forward. We also had a team in promotional bulletin board, Mr. Brent Burke. Group. I couldn't have asked for anything better as far as behavior. You know, I stress there the academics, the behavior there, the competition, everything kind of all into one. We went to the regional competition. Our kids stayed behind there. They helped clean up messes there from other groups that didn't clean up their messes that they made earlier in the day. We went to state competition there. I gave my expectations to them on an overnight trip there. It was 3 total nights. It was 4 total days. And we got back at about 8:30 there on a Saturday night. From the start to finish there in the competition, we did great in the competition there. We got the results, but we also acted and represented themselves, represented our school, and represented the whole community there in an A+ fashion there. They got a gold medal. If there was giving out a gold medal there for behavior there as a group there, there's no doubt there who would have gotten that. And I appreciate you. I'd also like to point out our advisors there. Mr. Jude, come on up here too. So you stick in the back there. These are the guys right here that make it. These are the guys that make it happen right here. We also have Mr. Pack and Mr. Dials were also advisors. Ms. Jude for HOSA was their advisor. We've got a great group of teachers. You know, we get a lot out of the kids there, and the results show there. So congratulations there to our teachers also that do a lot of good work. Thank you.
Appreciate you guys.
Guys, let's go ahead and meet out in the lobby here for a group picture.
Christy. Oh, no. He's like,
Good to see you. You want to sit there?
No, I think I'll sit over here.
Seriously,
That was nice. It was very nice.
There we go. Come on up, Mr. Osborne. Come on up.
From the alphabetical order thing. I know.
Mr. Mr. Osmond was our academic team coach. High school did pretty well this year, didn't we?
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Missed top 10 in the state by 1 point. And Mr. Goble can explain it to us sometime why we missed it, but we deserved top 10. And in my mind, we were top 10.
Well, I think that was, we talked about goals and,
Yeah.
of course, I don't think people realize the magnitude of the accomplishment on this academic team. Because you look at the number, like I say, there's over 255 high schools competed in this. I don't mean to cut away some of the time, but I just have to make it.
Oh, hold on, I'll add to it. There's 350.
And about 30,000 kids participating. Of course, the goal, which I told Jeremy up there one day, we were talking, I said, you guys are getting ready to leave. I said, we want to get that top 10. Of course, Jeremy said, no, we want to get number 1, and that's a great attitude. But you just missed it. There's 5 schools in eastern Kentucky finished in the top 11. 5. And you guys are in that league in Ashland. It's a pretty competitive league. And to finish 11th in the state, and it's like, where's Katie at? Katie steps. Katie, you stepped your game up. I know the kids from Johnson Central beat you in the regional. You blew them away in the state. You just blew them away. I mean, there wasn't even close. You stepped, and all of you. And of course, Wesley, and of course, we talk all the time, and Jeremy, and I'm just so proud of you, Lindsay, and composition. I keep which I take all my stats and write them down, and I make comparisons. You know, Wesley scored 36. He had a 42 in the regional, and of course, a 10th after the tiebreaker. But he was tied for 7th, and there was, like you said, there's a little questionable. Yeah, that happened. So, well, Katie was 47 in the state score, region 43, and of course Leah Blair from Central, she finished 10th, and Katie blew her away from Johnson Central, and the other 2 kids too. So we stepped that up, and of course Arts and Humanities, Jeremy missed winning the state championship by one point. I think it was. The top score was 43, and you had a 42, right? Yeah. If I'm wrong, you guys correct me, okay? But, of course, Cade Scott beat you in the region, but you blew him away in the state. So, I looked at this, too. Johnson Central, in the individual assessments, we beat Johnson Central in we tied in math. I think, I don't know if it's... of course, Corey and Priest, and yeah, we tied with Austin Cantrell as a tie. That's only the rest of them, and you guys just did them in. You did them in, of course. Trevor Black did well. I know I'm leaving out some, and the coaches, and of course, Mr. Baldridge, one of my favorite people, and it gets me excited. Can you tell? I get excited. I didn't used to be this way with academics. I was a basketball. Now,
you didn't watch the state quick recall. You did cartwheels. Yeah, they were good.
But what you guys did in the regional, of course, I got all the data here in front of me. The district, you guys are amazing. You guys are amazing, and you guys got our academic back on where it needs to be. In the last 3 or 4 years, you guys have stepped up, and we expect it to continue, right, Coach? You've got some good young kids coming in, and the seniors we got, gonna miss you, but they're welcome to come back and help anytime, aren't they, Coach?
Yes, sir.
Hey, I'm gonna miss you guys, but congratulations, and it excites me. And I'm sorry, you go ahead.
No, that's good. I've only got a few more things to say.
I had like 10 pages. You know, I better stop. Go ahead.
Okay. Well, forget me. If we can get the players up here, and go ahead and get them there. So.
All right, first
Have you got to go?
first of all, recognize you, Mr. Osmond.
Finish 11th and 1 point away from 10. That's just, man, I can't get it.
Miss Courtney Butcher.
She is not here.
Okay. Miss Michelle Ray. U.S. City Coach. Congratulations. Ms. Mr. Roy Bilecki. Okay. Ms. Kristen Robeson. Welcome, we appreciate all your help. Mr. Wesley Golden. Congratulations.
So Wesley was first in the regional in science, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, for 2 years in a row, which I believe is the only time that's happened. Is that correct?
Yeah, it's been a while.
He won the last 2 years in science.
Jeremy Copley.
I just got one question for Jeremy. So you did great in arts and humanities, which that's a tough, I mean, for our area, for our region, you can't walk out and like you can for music or whatever, and that's history, and that's a tough field. But I know in social studies you came in second in the district, was it?
I think it was third in the district and second in region.
Second in region.
So what did you do, study too much for?
I had to switch over as well.
That's tough. I would say that was tough. I'm just kidding. You did great. You did great.
Miss Katie Stitt.
Now this girl here stepped her game up in the state. So was the test harder than,
Yeah, that got hard.
Yeah,
and you score higher in the state you did in the regional? I think it's fantastic. And thanks for beating those kids from Johnson Central Way, right there.
Lindsay Horn.
Congratulations, Lindsay.
We have several kids not here, I'm just gonna say them all, we recognize them, but we'll make sure they get their certificate. Stevie Hensley, Trevor Blackburn, Corey Priest, Ethan Alexander, Chloe Hale, Jacob McKenzie, and Sheridan Fletcher. Thank you guys very, very much.
Great job.
Good job. I like your shirt, man.
Next we have ROTC. Harold.
They are on a field trip, and that's the list of kids that I gave you that says they won't be here. They're all on the field trip with Sergeant Carroll.
Oh, okay.
And he said just send those to school, but the other ones he invited
Okay.
to come.
We have Mr. Clay Parsley. Sit down, Louis.
Yeah.
Thank you, Clay. Stand up here if you don't care. We'll get the door up everybody here. Mr. Gary Hunt.
There's
On the field trip.
Okay. Austin Johnson. Congratulations, Austin. Ralph Johnson. Mr. Rowdy Kinzer. Miss Isabella Carabello. Jason Blackburn. Sean Mills. Congratulations, Sean. And these, I'll just read off the kids that are going on the field trip.
Are we missing one for anybody that's here? Because he sent me a list of who he didn't think was going to be here, and it's in there.
Of Miss Amber Goforth, Blake Blackburn, Dustin Morrison, Devin Morris, Ethan Wiley, Sergeant Alan Carroll, and his wife, Miss Denise Carroll.
commend you guys and congratulate you a lot about your Raider competition. And Sergeant Carroll was very pleased with what you guys have done. And so any of you guys plan on making a military career?
Not me personally, but I know you are, and a lot of Rowdy, a lot of other people plan to do that. So
Ethan and
yeah.
That's good.
Yeah.
So if you got anything bad to say about Sergeant Carroll? Now's the time. You all right, guys?
Yeah.
I appreciate what you guys do, and I know he keeps you in tip-top shape, so, you know, I wish I could be in that kind of shape.
Yeah.
One time maybe I was. Not anymore, but.
maybe you guys
Appreciate
could
it.
work on it.
I'd come up and run something.
Y'all run up the holler there, where I'm at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
Thank you, guys. Keep up the good work.
Yeah.
Proud of you.
Just go home.
Miss, I think we want to move up the, I think it's the insurance quote. We have a couple of gentlemen here, I want to say would you want to move it up closer to the front? So you guys, unless you guys want to hang around for next little while.
We're here to help you guys.
I don't have a problem taking it down.
We don't have a problem with it. I mean, you know, I didn't know if y'all needed to get on the road or what.
Ernest, however you want to proceed, I mean, introduce us, whatever y'all want to do.
So look, I'll move it up, it's the,
Item 17.
yes, item 17, up to next, you can get up to 4. We're on number 5.
We're on number 5, so we'll just move it back. So if that's okay, we'll go ahead this time. We'll do the discussion and possible action to approve bids for commercial liability and workers' compensation for school year 2018-2019.
Okay, we let out bids this year for our, the total package for the liability, workers' comp, and Mr. Doug Hyden and Paul from Maverick Insurance came back with, and you have that in your packets, if you found those. It shows the breakdown of the bids that we received, and they came in with the best quote for us. It's a few dollars less than what we paid last year. They did really good for us. If you have any questions, they're here. They came to field questions for us. With the price that we received from them, I'm urging that we approve them as our vendor for next year for the insurance. You guys have anything you want to say?
Amen.
I thought that would be great. But they wanted to be here in case we had any questions. I know they're a new vendor for this area. I got some references for other districts in the state that have already used them, and done a little background on Better Business Bureau, and everything looks good. And I'm recommending that we accept their insurance for this year.
Okay, I have a motion. Have a second. On favor, say aye.
Aye.
Against? Okay, motion carries. That is your
Thank you. I would like to say something really quick. My name is Durant Hall from Maverick Insurance Agency, and we have a local office in Pikeville. And Doug and I both grew up in Floyd County and product of the Floyd County school system. And what I heard here this evening, I have to applaud you, what you guys got going on. You know, Johnson Central seems to get a lot of accolades around the state. And it's pretty apparent that your all's academic team can stack up with about anybody in the state. So what you're doing, you should be mighty proud of. So I just wanted to throw that plug in there, so. Thank you, we'll get with you on tying up some loose ends, and I appreciate working with the board. And please know that Maverick is not your insurance carrier, not your insurance company. We're an agency, we're a broker. We represent a lot of different insurance companies. We're on your side, we work with you. We want to be a strategic partner for the board and work with you. So we're here to help protect the school board and the school districts from loss. Okay, that's what our primary responsibility is. So we look forward to working with you over the next year, and hopefully this is the beginning of a long-standing partnership. Okay, thank you.
Did you teach in Floyd County, sir?
No, I don't. I don't teach in Floyd County. No.
Where did you teach when you?
Oh, I went to school at Betsy Lane High School. Graduated there in 1986.
Okay.
Getting old.
It's a home of
Betsy Lane, Bob.
Danny Hall.
Danny Hall.
Yeah.
A little bit taller than me.
Yeah, he was. And I went to, he was in my same dorm. That was before the Wildcats had that big lodge, and they lived on the bottom floor of Holmes Hall, yeah.
The only thing I can say about Danny is I had a better jump shot than he did.
Yeah. So you played for Junior Newsom or Craner?
Yeah.
Of course, Craner Sloan was there. Of course,
Craner came in right after me, and I played for Craner on the Kentucky All-Star team against Ohio
I knew you were good
in
basketball.
'86, so.
All right.
Of course, I think of Duran Newsom too. You know?
Yeah, he's a little bit behind me, but yeah, we played together a lot, so. Thank you again very much for the opportunity to work with you.
Good deal.
See you guys.
Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action of board meeting minutes from April the 9th, 2018. Does anyone have any questions or comments on these? If not, I'm going to need a motion to approve.
Motion made.
The motion, I need a second. I'll second. And second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Again? Okay, motion carries to accept as written. Next item is going to be our conference request, vehicle request, fundraisers, and use of district property.
I've got last minute one, got today, it's our preschool at Eden Elementary. So, okay, give it to me, so add it to the list.
This sponsoring organization, MCCC, I'm not an alphabet soup man. That is what, Martin County Comprehensive Care, maybe?
Mountain Conference.
Mountain, yes, mountain, yes, mountain.
That's their.
MCCC.
Yeah, they do they just want to use our Eden, use one of our schools as a camp. They usually do it every year.
Okay,
We've never had a problem.
okay.
Seems to take care of everything.
I just wondered if that, who that was. Thank you.
Okay, if anybody doesn't have any objection or any more comment, I need a motion to approve.
Motion made, Madam Chair.
Have a motion, I need a second. Have a second, all in favor say aye. Okay, opposed? Okay, a motion carries. Next item is discussion of possible action of paid warrants in the amount of $1,549,513.58, which include items paid outside of the board in the amount of $160,031.71.
The only comment I want to make on this one is, we paid $1,154,000 toward construction cost on the new high school, and $395,000 went for regular operations.
There's not an attachment on this.
Yeah.
Which one? I think.
There should be, I don't see it there either, Lois. Maybe I attached it in another spot. I will. Would you like a hard copy?
No.
So I'll have to attach it from my computer down the hallway. I apologize. Look at the, it may be at the next time.
Maybe with the
Yeah.
orders of treasury.
Yeah.
Does anyone have any comment or questions concerning to pay warrants? If not, I'm going to need a motion.
Do you want me to make some copies real fast? I don't care to.
I'll make a motion.
Okay. Have a motion, I need a second.
I'll say.
And a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries to accept. Next item is discussion and possible action of orders of the treasurers for 5/14/2018 in the amount of $1,435,960.26.
The construction cost on this item for the new high school was $1,138,000, and the regular operations was $297,000,
How much you say for the high school?
1.1. So the majority went for the high school.
I'll make a motion.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll say.
And a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? The motion carries. And on that next one is discussion possible action to approve change order for the adverse weather days. And that's one he said that we didn't need to make any action on tonight, right?
Right.
Unless y'all
Right.
want to discuss it, or
No,
if not, then we'll just go on with it.
yeah.
See it again. Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action on change order number 21-2.
Is that the one who's talking about had the credit? Or
That's
was that
21-2. Are these all listed separate on the
Yes.
Yes.
agenda? Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So you need a motion for each one?
Yes.
Well, I'll make a motion to
Okay.
accept the change order on bid package 21-2.
Okay, I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll say.
Have a second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion has been made and second for the, voted on for the order number change of 21-2. Next item is discussion and possible action on change order number 24-5.
This is explained in our working session. I might
Yes.
add for the public. And so everything came out, there were no questions on it after it was explained to us. I'll make a motion,
Okay, got a
therefore,
motion to accept change order number 24-5.
24-5.
I need a second.
I'll say.
A second, on favor say aye. Opposed? Okay, the motion carries for the change order number 24-5. Next item is going to be discussion and possible action on change order number 24-22-1. And this is another one that was discussed
Yes.
in a working session, so I'm going to need a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Have a motion, I need a second.
I'll say.
A second, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries for change order number 24-22-1. Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action on tentative budget for school year 2018-2019. How much do you want?
Yeah.
Change order papers are a lot, aren't they?
Yeah, there are several pages of each one.
See what? I believe we just see what I'm doing here.
Huh?
Kenny Davis. I'll
Madam Chair, while he's going over that, I'm gonna go down and log onto my computer and make sure I get those attached.
Sometimes you can't see, so
Okay.
there,
Now, on the
we'll get you
bottom.
some hard copies.
Thank you, sir.
All right.
We are doing the tentative budget, and this is part 2 of 3 parts. Working budget will be next. That'll be in October. But starting on the second part, let's just have a little history here. The percentages of revenues for the general fund comes from 3 sources. The majority of that comes from state revenue, that being SEEK, and we have local revenue, which comes up to about 30%, say 27, and then there's a small portion that we have from miscellaneous sources. Here is the breakdown for the year, and that's why I wanted to print that, because it's kind of hard to see up there, of the property tax collection thus far. This is as of today. Just regular general fund is 1.2 million. We also received $450,000 for property taxes, which goes to the FSPK for the building fund. Next up is the $339,000 for
Franchise?
pardon?
That's the franchise tax?
Yeah, that should be franchise. Which of the amounts that we've received so far, we're at a collection rate of 75.4%, which is pretty good.
What was our collection rate all year last year?
It was like 68, it was in the high 60s, so we're doing better.
Yeah.
Next slide is a breakdown of all of our revenues, and if you'll look on the next page, I've printed one out that's a little bit bigger, a little bit easier to see.
I appreciate that.
I knew you wouldn't be able to read it on this, but it's on there. What you really want to pay attention to is down toward the bottom, where it says beginning year balance, 2.8 million. And then I'm projecting 1.8. As of right now, I'm projecting 1.8 for an end of year balance. And you'll see on the bottom there that we're going to be about $1 million short. We have used up some of our beginning balance to carry through for this year. And we expected that because of keeping the rate, property tax rate, the same as we did last year.
It's about $1 million
Yeah,
less that we're not getting.
that's what it's looking as right now if things go on. The yellow items are actual numbers. The other numbers are projected, and I'll fill those in for probably next meeting. I'll give you another update on where we stand as we get closer to the end of the school year. All right, one of the things that we got from the state out of our new budget was they threw us a bone. $298,000 for the loss of unmined minerals. It started out at 400 and something. I know, I knew that look.
Yeah.
Yeah, it started out, but once it went through, when it came back for revote and they overturned the budget, they dropped it.
But the Saturday in that session, the last session, was that the total number, or was it 4?
It was 4 something. Yeah, it was 400,000. And then before they overturned the veto, they amended it to 298,000. It was $10 million total when it started, and they cut it to 7.
So they cut everybody.
They cut everybody.
How about Elliott County, did they get their $100?
I don't know if that would.
That's what I want.
What was theirs the lowest one?
Yeah.
I think it was $100 when they finished.
Or was Carter like
Oh, I thought that's what it was. On that Saturday, they said it went from 1.4 or 1.2 million to $100, and they, what, 11 counties?
Seriously?
There's 31 counties total. It was
31
Eastern
counties. And so that we, I was wanting to hold up my hand and ask the question, but of course I would have been out of order and out in the hallway. But I was wanting to know where we stood then.
Yeah.
But they cut it even more.
They cut everybody, and that's where we ended up.
Well, I say let's grab it and run.
Yeah, oh, I've already, it's in the bank.
Okay.
They've already sent us the money.
Okay, don't return it.
No, we're not returning it. Okay, revenues and expenditures. Of course, like we was talking about there on the revenue sources, you got SEEK and state grants from the state. We have local funding, we have federal grants, and we also get some money from E-rate. List of the normal expenditures, salary, fringes, insurances, KISTA leases, debt service. SEEK forecast for next year due to some losses in students. We're going to receive about 192,000 less than we did last year.
Wait, that's from this year's?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, that's from this year's to next. Yeah, I said last year on it. This year, we're working on 19. The concerns we have for going forward on salary and fringe sustainability, the increases of approximately 190,000 in salary, around 123,000 for fringe next year. Fringe total is going to end up being 313,000, and that's due to an increase in the CERS rate from 19.18 to 21.48%. They helped us out a lot with that, legislature did, because they phased it in. It was supposed to went to 28.6 or something like that, 28.9. And they voted to phase that in over the next few years. We were going to have about a $360,000 bill for just CERS, and it's ended up, as of numbers that we have right now, you know, we'll have more hard numbers as we get into the school year. But from what we have right now, it looks like about a $110,000 increase instead of about 360. And they limited the increases to 12% per year until they reach that 28% mark. Bond payments for the new year is going to be 1.1 million, and that's without the ATC. Depending on where that comes in, we'll have, it'll increase that somewhat. Property assessments, we're hoping those have leveled out. The lowering tax base and the local economy is the cause of that. The good news is, next year's workers' comp, general liability, fleet, and property insurance came in at $295,000. They already
They
got.
just left.
Yeah, they just
left. It's like the $65,000, is that what it was?
Well, yeah,
Compared?
that's on the quotes that we received. But from last year to this year, it's down 112,000. So, yeah. I mean, everybody came in lower because we had a lower mod rate for our KISTA, or key, or workers' comp. So it's 1.2. It's 1.6. It's be under 1. But it's getting there. All right, keeping up with the increases on expenses, we need to be careful what we're doing on salaries, grants, the reduction in fundings. Utility cost this year looks like it's going to be about $10,000 per school increase, $50K total approximately. We're seeing revenue cuts from the state and from federal programs. We haven't actually received notification of what the new titles are yet. Those will be coming along. I'm projecting next year's contingency at about 800,000. To hold that, we need to stay within our budget. We need to minimize expenses to secure that ending balance and try to, ensure that we don't have any surprises as much as possible.
I don't like surprises.
No, unless they're good. And then here's the trend that we're looking at. This year, we're looking at around 1.8 as the ending balance, but if you'll look at that, underneath there, 17, we had 2.8. This year, we're looking at between 1.8 and 1.9. And then next year, I'm looking at 800,000. So the trend is dropping.
It's not good.
No. Additional Fund 1 obligations. The school allocations we've kept them at $100 per ADA. 18-19 budget is $195,000. The local share of our bond payments, KISTA lease purchase of buses, we just purchased new buses. Increasing cost of insurance and employment benefits. We need to continue to re-examine staffing policies. We are attempting to not fill vacancies when they come open. Reducing wear and tear on buses when we can consolidate field trips. We continue to have our extracurricular trips to reimburse for busing. Ensure Section 6 allocations for the instructional fees to schools are spent prudently. Continue to search for cost savings. Anywhere we can, we're doing that. We look at anything and everything to try to make sure that we're getting the most bang for our buck. Stay close to school allocations. We keep watch over the budgets and try to hold them to it. Some things happen and you can't keep that from happening, but we try to make sure. Prepare long-range plans for district improvements and always be proactive. Are we effectively using the personnel and services that we have available at present? Unplanned and unbudgeted activities, we need to look to see to make sure that it's a need instead of a want. Make sure that the cost of services versus the quality of service, we need to make sure that, again, we're getting the most bang for our buck on what we're spending our funds for. Conclusion, decrease in revenue at federal and state levels, they continue to trend downward. Expenses are always going up. Decreasing staffing as enrollment decreases is imperative. We got to match our staff to our enrollment. Thank you. Savings and conservation is vital at all levels, and we need to be fiscally responsible to our students.
Got that question the other day, well, why do we keep losing teachers? We keep losing kids. And staff, not just.
And if you'll look on the back 2 pages, the last one, we have budgeted for this year. I tried to come in a little bit conservative. Had budgeted 1.1 just like we did last year, since we were planning on the same amount of budget again, and we have received 1.2. So we had a little bit of carryover. So this is, we've already met our budget and we're doing good on that. So we're doing fine.
We appreciate you.
It's not a whole lot, but it'll
Right.
do it.
It's like our co-severance money we take on people.
Right, absolutely.
And as much as we can get.
$700.
Ernest, are you finished with them? all attachments are visible now. The default goes to private, and I have to select for board members to see them. So they were all in there, I just had forgotten to click that button, so my apologies.
Does anyone have any questions for Ernest on the tentative budget? If not, I'm going to need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
A motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
Have a second, all in favor say aye. Aye, opposed? Okay, motion carries for the tentative budget for school year 2018-2019. Next item is going to be discussion of possible action to use budget rebate money to pay down on fiscal debt.
Okay, the 3 buses that we purchased, there were 2 rebates that went along with those buses if they met the grant requirements. Since it had to be inspected and had to be submitted, we didn't want to take a chance on it not passing and getting the rebate money. So we filed for the whole loan for the buses. The buses did pass the grant requirements, and we received well, we haven't received it, it's still with Ross Sinclair. We received a rebate for the 2 buses of $71,691, and they're holding that for us until we tell them what we want to do with that. So I explored the possibility of using that to pay down the bond debt, since it was for that debt anyway. And if we use that for that, let them just apply it, we'll cut the $22,600 in interest over the term, and we'll pay off for the 3 buses a year and a half early. So the $71,600 is going to get us $94,000.
Good man.
Yes, that sounds good.
Good
I
man.
thought we already said yes, I thought we voted on this once. We didn't.
We voted to get the buses, and then this is for the rebate.
So I'm going to need a motion.
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
A second, all in favor say aye.
Now,
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is discussion and possible action to approve salary schedules for school year 2018-2019.
Well, again, I'm not being confrontational or argumentative, but, which for the last few years, I still would like to see the schedule changed, and it comes from, if it's feasible, I'd just like to check and see if it's feasible, if there is a possibility of our cooks, which comes from food service, which is not related to, or comes out of general fund, that they could get an increase in salary. Like I said, it's a whole different fund. I think if you make it clear, make it transparent. I know you're worried and concerned about others saying, well, and I would like to see everybody get a raise. And, but you can look at our budget and the crunch we're in, and as far as losing money, but in this particular area here, I'd like to see it happen. So, again, I think transparent about things, explain it, and bring it up. I just think they're deserving there as far as I look at the salary schedule, and a person that starts out as a cook, I'm not sure, Marcy can correct me, it's $7.97 an hour, and I believe you worked 27 years and you'll make $11.04. I'm not sure on that. That's just what I remember. So that's my argument. But I don't want to argue.
I don't think anyone's saying they're not deserving. I think that they're very deserving. It's just hard on, you know, in this day and time, and then we're making cuts, we're not replacing people, and people losing jobs, then.
But again, my argument is a whole different. This is food service, has nothing to do with my other people. It's nothing to do with.
The other 200 people won't know that. They'll be.
Well, I said if you make it transparent and you explain it.
why you would deprive or why you would be unhappy because a cook got a few cents raise. Don't make sense to me. But again, that's my opinion. It's on the salary schedule, my vote's no.
Was there any other changes, Mr. Hale? Family Resource Center, correct? Is that on it or the?
Yeah, there's a page on, the last page is the, a district grants page. We have not had the, Frisky people listed on our salary schedule, and that needed to be added because we need to have everyone that's being paid from payroll to be on a salaries table or schedule. So I added that on there so that we would have that to approve.
I see also on here, there's a middle school principal, assistant principal. I'm sure that's, I don't know, more than what's normally, if we don't know longer have that either, right?
I think the guy had 450 kids. I think the Family Resource Center, we've not had, nobody's losing money. They're making what they're always made. It's always been kind of arbitrary. I'd say arbitrary. That's not a good word either. But it was according to their budget.
Yeah.
And sometimes they get money. More often than not, they lose money. And this could change too with their salaries based on their budget. If they get less money, then obviously it's going to affect their salary first. But we needed to get it in writing, get it on a salary schedule. Nobody's losing without it. That's what they're making now. And Mr. Hill, kind of an evil genius, kind of figured out how to do that. Because they're all different. His wife says evil. She's a bad genius.
She knows me better.
Right.
Oh, he's a pretty evil genius with the numbers.
We, due to our new literacy grant, we added a stipend for a district coach and a middle school literacy leader and a high school literacy leader to the salary schedule that comes from the grant.
Yeah, right, it's all
Striving
paid
reader.
from the grant.
Yeah, striving reader grant, but we need to have that on the salary schedule.
And when the grant's up, the grant's up.
Yes.
That's in
Yes.
2 years,
Yes.
right?
Yes.
Correct?
We don't pick it up.
No, sir.
And I think they were told that, weren't they?
Yes.
Yeah.
We're over.
Other comment on it?
No, everything else is the same as it was last year.
So do we wait and approve this when it is added, or?
No, it's ready, it's ready now.
So, we need a motion to approve.
I see nothing wrong with.
I'll make that motion.
One area.
I'll second it. Have a second. All in favor, say aye.
I vote
Aye.
no. My vote's no.
Any opposed? Okay, our next item is going to be discussion and possible action to approve auditor's contract for school year 2018-2019.
Okay, me again. I'm putting forth a motion to continue with White and Associates. They've been with us and they do a really good job. I'd like to continue with them for another year. Same rate as before. And, I really enjoy working with these people. They do a really good job and they help out wherever that I need help, and I just like to continue working with them.
Does anybody have any questions on that or comments or something? And if not, I need a motion.
On our finance officer's recommendation, I'll make a motion to keep them.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is going to be discussion and possible action to accept grass cutting bids for school year 2018-2019.
This time we got 2 bids for grass cutting services at our schools.
This does not include the baseball field, that was separate, baseball and softball field. We only had 2 bids, and I recommend, obviously, we accept the low bid.
Okay, I'm gonna need a motion
I'll
on
make
this.
a motion.
A motion, I need a second.
I'll second it.
A second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion passes. Next item is discussion of possible action on first reading of a certified evaluation plan for school year 2018-2019.
I don't think there have been any new changes to the plan than what you approved last year. It does go before a 50-50 committee made up of teachers and administrators.
Are the list of teachers and administrators in here somewhere?
I think so.
I mean, I'd just like to know.
Right. Is it
Oh, I
not?
see here.
Okay.
I guess this has been changing every year, and it'll probably
yeah.
change again next.
I'm sorry, yes. I think some of the vocabulary, some of the state contracts have expired, so they couldn't refer to certain terminology from the Danielson framework and those type of things. So there were some clerical things to clean up, but basically the process is the same that we have this year for certified. And it requires 2 readings, and then it also has to be approved at the state level.
So we need a motion to accept the first reading.
Could you hold
Okay.
off just a
Yes,
second?
uh-huh.
Thank you very much. I just need to read this real quickly. This doesn't affect the people who have obtained a continuing service status? Is that right?
The certified evaluation is for tenured and non-tenured.
Who have not obtained service status shall receive an annual summative evaluation and shall, who have obtained,
Will receive the
once
sum
every
once
3
every 3
years.
years.
Okay, I see. I couldn't understand that, that's why I didn't cover all teachers, but it does. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm sorry, go right ahead, ma'am.
Okay, so I'm gonna need a motion.
I will make that motion.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
Second, all in favor say aye.
Thank you.
Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries for the first reading. Next item is discussion of possible action on NTI application for school year 2018-2019.
We apply for these every year. We ask for all 10. I like to keep it around 5, but now this year we did use about 8. And it was 3 days in Frankfurt and among other things. But I thought it was well worth it. I mean, it's days that our kids don't have to make up, and hopefully we get some instruction at home. I mean, that's the goal. But it's good to have all 10, that way if you need them, you got them. And we try to limit it to 5, and that's okay, but we ask for 10.
So I'm going to need a motion for the NTI days.
I will make that motion.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
A second, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Okay, motion carries. Next item is going to be the discussion possible action on MOA with Morehead State University.
This is with their dual credit classes,
Yes,
correct?
the classes that come through Morehead State that our faculty teaches, but our students get credit for them at the college.
I think our kids can get, what is it, 32 hours or
I
30,
think so.
something like that?
Up to, this
That
is the
leaving
first
campus
one.
at high
We will, yes, we will get also dual credit MOAs from other colleges that we've partnered with as well. But Morehead, yes, Morehead just got theirs in for this month.
Okay, is this, the cost of this is covered by?
Got certain scholarships.
Right, we have some scholarships. There is some at cost to students, but we try to keep it at a minimum.
Okay, I was just wondering about the student who doesn't have the financial, money. There is scholarships for that.
Right. We have used some money in the past, and then we've helped, you all have helped with
Mhm.
textbooks and those types of things.
Okay, thank you.
Mhm.
But they know that there is a,
I don't think we have ever turned a student away based on status.
Okay, that's cool.
That is great.
Okay, I'm gonna need a motion. I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
A second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, okay, motion carries. Department of Marine State University. Next is gonna be our reports, administrative staff report.
We already had it with Mr. Hill.
Okay. Martin County Educational Association report.
I've been quiet for about 3 months now. This is our last meeting of the year before we're out.
I was gonna say, this isn't our last meeting.
No, but just before school's out.
Right.
We've had our management meetings throughout the year. And to be honest, they've been disappointing. Not too many good results there. No answers. That's the reason I don't say too much here, because I know it's not for us to discuss like this, and I've went through the motions, but contract not being respected as much as it should.
What needs to be
Working
done?
harder at getting around things, back to the old friend and family, and, instead of following the basic procedures.
What have I done?
Oh, you haven't done anything. It's just the whole system. It's just like the procedures are not being followed. And that's, we've discussed
The
things 2 or 3
procedures, what
times.
procedures are we talking about?
Management meetings, we'll bring up the problems, discuss them, go back, have another one, have an answer.
Yeah.
No answers. And it's frustrating.
Who are these meetings supposed to be with?
Our
I'm
director,
on
yeah.
that, I'm on that committee, but
Yeah.
I thought that we usually work to resolve all those problems, Connie.
We talked about the cook's salary at the beginning of the year. Lots of things have, and we haven't discussed it since. Here at the board, you
Right, well,
things like that. Some problems in schools and transportation department. And I didn't come here to debate and bring all these problems. We can have another management meeting. I'm just saying it's a little frustrating.
Transportation Department.
Yes.
Is this still about the educational MCEA? Are we still on that? Or have we moved
This,
something else? Okay.
These are just problems, working conditions, safety of our kids, our issues. There's just things going on out there that should not be.
Like we need the safety of our kids and working conditions.
Last week, my bus run, I have the best bus in the county since January. We made some changes. It was hard at first, with the new bus that came in, but they've been working well. Now all of a sudden we're crazy. We don't have my run covered. They're moving my kids off another bus to put another bus for trips, I guess. It's just too much, to me, it's too much moving of kids. That's why we have a bus list. I have a student list. I have a route sheet on my bus.
I think a lot of the times we've had 4 or 5 drivers miss. And I know
We
when we
do.
have 4 or 5 out in one day, it's, we're scrambling to get them home.
I know, but we've got 3 subs that we've hired this year too, and they're driving. There needs to be better procedures. Those procedures need to be followed. It's just, you have a bucket of apples, and if you've got a bad one in it, if you don't have some procedures, that bad one kills them all. It's just,
Just a few weeks ago, didn't it?
and it's frustrating. For KEA, I don't think we're supposed to get a list of the classified every year. I haven't seen one of those, or my representative hasn't seen one of those. I've got a list of bus drivers because I went and requested it for me. New hires, we've got that in there. If they're new hired, they're to be a member. There's a waiver that they're to sign. We're supposed to get copies of. I haven't gotten a one. I know we've hired new people, and we've discussed that.
Right, and I made sure that they got those in their packets, so they are getting those.
Are they signing them? That should go to somebody. I don't know. I should receive a copy.
Some of that would go to payroll with it because there would be a payroll issue.
So, and we've discussed, like I said, it's just frustrating for me at the end. I had these great hopes at the beginning of the year it was going to be better this year. And now it seems like everything has fell apart. So, I don't know what to do. I just wanted to make you aware of it. And I do feel like our transportation is unsafe. A lot of times.
Well, we're making corrections on that. We're
I'm
changing.
trusting you. I have been, like I said, I haven't said anything for a long time. It's just my concern. I've worked hard at this and I'm getting too old. You know, and it's the safety of my kids. I worry about my kids. You know, it's all the kids.
Is that every day that they change buses and, I mean, like?
Quite a bit,
Is that
quite,
every day?
yes. You know, if we've got trips, those trips are supposed to be after we finish our run. We're pulling drivers to do this run and putting the kids on another bus or doing something. And most of the time, you don't know until you get to the school.
Well, I know, I mean, when we have 4 or 5 drivers, I mean, we're not getting the trips covered either. You know, that's been,
That's a big, yeah.
that's been a major concern. I mean, we're scrambling to get kids home every day. I mean, that's, when you get 4 or 5 drivers out every day, it's tough. I'm not sure, I don't know what else to do.
Yeah, I don't know either. That's the reason I just brought, you and I have talked about it,
Running runs.
It's just frustrating. So. I feel like there was something else and I can't remember.
What?
I said, I think there was something else, but I can't remember now.
How many children do you have on your bus?
I've only got about
what is it?
26.
Is there-
I've got the little bus that goes up Castle Branch.
Is there some kind of committee that
I thought
you
you were a
meet
co-worker.
with?
Sorry.
Is there some kind of committee that members of the organization meet with?
Yeah, our management team, Crago and Marcy and myself and Mark, Rodney and Becky and Murky.
We just
Address
had,
everything.
we just had a meeting, what, 2 or 3 weeks ago,
Mhm.
didn't we?
Yeah, we did.
I thought the only thing we discussed though was the trips and.
The expense reports and stuff, yeah.
Ernest and Mr. James were there.
Mhm.
I thought you drove the bus at Coldwater.
I go up Collins Branch and up Moore Branch in the little bus.
The Moore Branch.
Yeah. Moore Branch in the afternoon. And like I said, that all changed in January when we got the new bus. And it's been great. For me. But just my concerns, and like I said, I didn't come prepared to fight or papers or nothing. We can have another meeting and do that. I can come up with proof. Another problem we have is our kids being transported on the buses out of school district. We talked about this 3 years ago. It's still happening, you know?
What are you,
And
what are you talking about?
Warfield Elementary student being transferred to the middle school and then brought over on to the high school. Well, I don't know if, I think they get dropped off now at the football field. But our bus is sitting at the middle school waiting for this child while we've got kids sitting behind the high school for 40 minutes in this heat, you know? And that's a big, and they're working on it, I think. It's been brought up and we don't have a guard up there and it's traffic, you know, the buses get over late from the middle school. They can't even get up to the back of the school to let the kids out. Too much traffic. So we've had a big problem with that. It's just,
So one guy that helped that one day, he's not doing it every day, traffic control. We don't have traffic, we need traffic control.
we haven't had a guard since what, Thanksgiving or something.
Yeah, he's been,
We've
he's
had
been good for a
the
while.
police officer out there a couple of times since we talked about it. And one guard there checked, but today she was at the swimming pool and couldn't get up the hill. The last bus from the middle school. And then you got the drivers over there that's waiting for buses from here and they're wanting them to leave early but we're all sitting there, you know.
And it's all because of that one kid.
Well, that bus is the last bus, they hold the bus up. So you have to wait till they all get there. But she's out of district, that's against board policy. Remember, we went through this. I even gave copies to everybody of the board policy.
Yeah, I
Unless
thought
the
we took
school
care
is
of that.
closed or not to be transported by the bus.
I think somebody had moved or something happened, this is what I was told. Either they moved,
I don't know who it
I don't
is,
know.
I just know we're held up.
And why are we waiting on that, the one? Why is
We
that?
have a busload of kids coming from the middle school to the high school, and they have to get on buses and stuff to leave high school and go home.
We'll see what we can
transportation director's never come before us and
Right.
mentioned any of this.
No, we tried to take care of it.
As far as traffic at the high school, I think we had somebody on for extra duty that was helping manage the parking lot. And that extra duty was changed for someone when we got a guard. And so it's probably since that guard has, we've probably not replaced that person, so maybe that's probably an easy fix.
Okay, so you'll look into this?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. Our next item's gonna be school reports, superintendent matters.
I just have a personnel update. So we're getting smaller. That's just a thing of the retirees and transfers and stuff.
Okay, no one has applied for a public comment. So our next item is going to be approval to enter into executive session in pursuit of KRS 61.810F. I need a motion for this.
I'll make a motion.
I have a motion, I need a second.
I'll second.
All in favor, say aye. Opposed? Okay, we stand in executive session. Okay, I need a motion to exit executive session.
I'll make that motion, Madam Chair.
I need a second.
I'll say it.
Second, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
At this time, I need a motion for adjournment.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
A motion, I need a second.
I'll say it.
A second, all in favor, say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Meeting adjourned.